1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Yeah, there you go. I'll share the mic with you if you want. No, just underneath you. I don't know who's allowed up here, mate. Honestly, I'm just fucking told.
All the work for these two clubs comes to a head right here. Home of the Matildas in Bundura is the setting for a huge game of football. A couple of the very best teams in the state leagues. Bayside Argonauts looking to add another chapter to a meteoric rise. Banyule City looking to get themselves back to the third tier of Victorian football. This will be a brilliant watch. The runners-up from State League 1 South East and State League 1 North West going toe-to-toe and blow for blow this afternoon in Bundura. Most of talented players with enviable CVs. And we are all set to go for Banyule and Bayside in Bundura. Oliver Walker-Peel is my name. A pleasure and a privilege to have your company this afternoon. Alongside me is a man who knows a fair bit about these two, having been in the dugout against both of these two clubs, Bayside in League and Banyule in the Cup. It is Hampton East Brighton head coach Brandon Galgano. Brandon, it's all set up beautifully for this, isn't it? And like I say, you know a fair bit about these two.
Thanks, Ollie. Yeah, look, it's certainly going to be an entertaining game. You've got two sides that had very strong seasons in two very tough leagues of Victorian football, and both desperate for promotion. Banyule having been very close over the last few years and just missing out on that prized progression to VPL2. And of course Bayside, who, yes, we do know very, very well, is our local rival. And look, they've come up a long way very quickly. So look, a great opportunity for them to progress to VPL2 as well. So looking forward to what should be a great game.
Certainly, it's a big game for our officiating team too, who are in and around the halfway line here at the home of the Matildas, the main pitch here. Alex Nikolowski is our referee, ably assisted by Gab McCoy and Amin Paivar, who are along the touchlines, fourth official George Iliopoulos. And then to the teams, two changes for the Bayside Argonauts, who won 4-0 against Gippsland United on the final day of the State League season. In come Max Murray and Jesse Makarunas, the former Victory winger. Out drop Marinos Panayi and somewhat surprisingly Costa Drutzis. So that 11 is as follows: in goal, Lewis Kotsopoulos. Back four of Liam McKenna, Kian Storti, Max Murray and Ollie Chadwick, we think. In holding midfield is former Melbourne City, amongst others, full-back and defensive midfielder Scott Jamison. Joining him in midfield, Zach Lemke and Jesse Makarunas. The front three of Lee Kissas, Mitch Cooper, flanking Masquay through the middle. And for Banyule, they make one change from their 1-0 win over Ballarat City. Out drops Henrique Pimenta, in comes Nick Sete. The team in full: Jordan Kifkins in goal, back four of Ray Sutsugu, Alan Brandau, Tobias Hegele and Jake Montagnese. Midfield three of Jonathan Bunas, Evan Christodoulou, former Avondale midfielder, and Thomas Daniele, with a front three of Matt Lazaridis, Nick Sete, and through the middle, Victorian legend Dusan Bosniak. And so we're all set. Jesse Makarunas, who's seen a lot, will kick us off. How much will his experience be utilised this afternoon? One of these clubs, the prize at the end for the winner is promotion to VPL2. For the loser, they'll be consigned to at least another season in State League football. I know there's been a recent restructuring of the Victorian football pyramid with one to come, but it will be the first time in the Victorian Premier Leagues for either of these two clubs. So here goes Thomas Daniele, who sends it in. Flicked away once, then twice out of the penalty area. The Argonauts with a bit of defending to do early.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. You look at the squads. Sorry, as the ball was coming in there. And look, I think for Banyule, the real strength's going to be that midfield three, Evan Christodoulou especially, and Jonathan Bunas. You've got two players with so much top-flight experience, and they both had great seasons in State League 1 this year. Nick Seti as well, I've got to say, when we played them in the Cup earlier in the season, was very dangerous. He's got A-League experience, he's played at the top level. And of course, Dusan Bosniak, again, you don't need to introduce him to people that know this game in Victoria. So much quality. Whereas for Bayside, I mean, I've got to say, everything really revolves around Mitch Cooper and what he brings to the table. He's got so much final product. He's scored over 30 goals in the last two seasons, and again, he's so dangerous. Looks like he's playing in as a 10, actually, funnily enough. So Jesse Makarunas in as a 9.
We do all the predictions on where players will line up, and they can foxy once the whistle goes. That's why I'm not a coach anyway. I was going to say why we both aren't coaches, but of course you're manning the dugout every week. So it'll be unfair for me to say that to you.
Darren Duffy is actually suspended. He got 4 weeks, I think, in the round 21 game that we played them. So yeah, he's not on the touchline today. I think their reserves coach Tasuli Mpanidis is in.
It's lifted over the top. That's for Banyule to chase. Nodded back by Liam McKenna to his goalkeeper Louis Kotsopoulos. Here is Masquet, who will fashion an outside of the football down the line for Mitch Cooper to try and get after. Goal Coast United, of course, he's robbed of it. And can keep hold. Christodoulou involved. You mentioned the midfield pairing with Evan Christodoulou and Jonathan Boonis. 261 Victorian top flight appearances between them. A fair bit of experience there. Here is Sete. Shown down the left, he'll take it on and send it in. By Storty, and the Argonauts should be able to bring this away. Found there is Boonis. The 30-year-olds bowled over, and a free kick for the Argonauts.
I got to say as well, another few really important plays at Banyule. Alan Brandau, the centre back, he's got a great left foot on him, really good distribution. And an old mate of mine, Geordie Gifkins, goalkeeper, again, another one with a lot of top flight experience, been around the traps for many years, but really important player for them this season as well. So, look, overall, Banyule, you've got to say, their 11 is very strong. So really, if they can get on hold of this game and keep the ball, I think they'll ask a lot of questions early.
Jamison winning. Bayside a throw. Alan Brandau, by the way, looking for back-to-back promotions on a personal level. He took Mazenod from State League 2 to State League 1 before moving on last year. McKenna for Quay, who tried to let it run. It ran out of play in the end. Maybe wiser to try and take that at first glance.
Really interesting one today with Max Murray going in at centre-back for Bayside. Max is a real utility. He's their longest-serving player. He's been there since their days in State League 4. Midfielder, box-to-box midfielder, played as a 10, was playing at full-back this year, and then interestingly starting today at centre-back, and Marinos Paniyi on the bench. So, again, just a real clubman, but his versatility really showing through. So, big decision there as well.
Down the line. Zach Lemke has it taken off him. Numbers for the Argonauts as Cooper slams that against his own man. Scott Jamison was expecting that, but went against him anyway. Sete again trying to maraud down the Banyule left. A couple of matchday squad appearances for Melbourne Victory. Never made a senior competitive appearance for the club. Those appearances on the bench came in the Australia Cup a couple of times. Back when it was called the FFA Cup. Quay, former Malvern attacker, tries to get after this. Beaten to it by Thomas Hegele. German centre half getting that one into touch. Another one with NPL Men's Victoria experience. Thomas Hegele was Altona for a couple of years, 2019-2021. 32 appearances in that time. And short. Sent in. Cooper will let that one run out to play. One of 5 players in the Argos 11 this afternoon who is looking for back-to-back promotions. Seems crazy enough that he was playing in State League 2 last season. R2-born attacker to get himself involved here. Sete beat him to it. Blazniak to help it on. It's easy in the eye from Danielle, but it's back to the Argonauts keeper and Kotsopoulos, Brandon.
Yeah, no, Lee Kissas we know very well at Hampton. He actually was part of our championship winning squad in State League 3 a few years ago as well, before taking a year off and moving on to Bayside last year. Very quick and direct, and a real athlete, so someone who can be dangerous. But yeah, it's been an interesting start. I think both teams trying to sort of get a feel for the ball. Bayside are very direct with the way they look to play football, so they're a side that, when they get the ball forward quickly, that's when they look dangerous. But Banyule, have really good control of that midfield generally throughout games this season. So, that's going to be the interesting battle for me, Ollie. And so far, no one really getting a hold of the game.
You can see the way it's trying to play out, though, I think. The attritional to start. Has to be expected in a big game like this. Lemke, the American, sliding in. It's for Jamison, who mentioned himself, took a bit of the ball, which was a little bit luckier, so might have been in a bit of disciplinary trouble. Down smartly, Christodoulou, who will take the throw here for Banyule towards the middle, but comes unstuck. Capable of a lot, Dusan Bosniak, and better than that. He'll be the first to tell you that. It was behind Quay, who tried to get it back into his path. Brunas. Jamison. And his Argos teammates weren't on the same page as he. Just through to Jordan Gifkins in the Banyule goal. Christodoulou. Helped on from Brunas. Feeling for a free kick there as he tried to find Montagnese, who's gone forward.
Yeah, I think interesting just watching Scott Jamison in there. So he's been sitting in that 6 role for most of the season, and his impact with the ball is unquestionable. But it'll be interesting to see how Banyule can exploit him without the ball, and if they can move off him into those central spaces, that's where there may be some opportunities. So again, Evan Christodoulou seems to be dropping in and getting on the ball, but no real clear 10 for them, with the two sort of more number 8s and Brunas sitting a bit deeper. But again, it'll be interesting to see if they can make the most of that on transition.
On the switch there, Kissas. He's picked out Quay, who showed too much to Tsugu. Again has it back, and once more it's the Banyule number 2 who is on terms with him. His pass though left a little bit short. Lemke stealing in, twisting and turning and then losing the ball. It's a combination of Tsugu and Hergela. Worked over to Nick Sete. There will be one to watch, and there's a name that jumps off the page. Often shows why. He drifts in field. Goes across. Montagnese gives it away. There's space now for McKenna. He's been over halfway. Quay loses it, and Banyule have it back. Christodoulou and Brunas. Try and pick up Bosniak, he's beaten to it. It's been a game in which this has happened a lot of turnovers in midfield. That's why the ball's not progressing as far as it otherwise might be.
Yeah, both teams just still trying to get a bit of a feel for the game. I mean, these playoff finals always typically cagey affairs, so much on the line, and just making sure you get into the game's super important. Such a good deck to play football on though, and that's one thing which, to be honest, and I know coming from Southeast, the fields haven't been great throughout the season. So honestly, adjusting to a deck where you can play really decent football and it's big, probably will take a bit of time for Bayside. Whereas, Banyule I think is showing a bit of threat when they're getting combinations around the box.
Neat turn from Sete. Storty plays it against the Banyule number 7, who is into the starting 11 after serving a 1-match ban in the final game of the season after he picked up a red card the week before. Very handy player to have back in an 11. Down the line, kicking away from it. Inside point of view, trying to plot a way through there was Banyule, who has it, the former number 21 striker. Montanyese, who has to give up a bit of ground. Just with a bit of space. Right-footed, sends it up towards Bosniak. Did well to keep it away from Lemke. Sugu. Work a crossing, but it's not with the first time of asking. Ball over from Montanyese, the former Essendon Royal. And Pascoe Vale, man, not his best out of play for a throw for the Argonauts. As we talked about off there, Brandon have had quite a rise from State League 2 last season, potentially VPL 2 football next year if this afternoon goes the way they want.
Well, 2 promotions in a row actually, with them going up from State 3 the year before as well. So, yeah, look, quite a rise over the last few years. And again, you know, they're a club that's quite ambitious. They've strengthened the squad over the last few seasons. Yeah, they had Tyson Holmes playing there last year. He retired at the end of the season. But, you know, they had some really strong individual players. Yeah, Mitch Cooper, as we mentioned, that have been a big part of that. Of course, there's been a few other boys like Max Murray that have been there for a bit longer through the journey as well. This year, you know, I think they did well to strengthen the squad, you know, bringing in a few boys like Kian from Malvern, Drutzis, who's on the bench surprisingly, Mas Quay out wide, you know, really adding a different element and dynamic wide threat, which they maybe didn't quite have last year. But yeah, again, you know, it's been a fast progression for them, so impressive you know, over the last few seasons.
It's interesting your point you made a few minutes ago about the pitches, by the way, because this is a wonderful pitch, and I think we both know that some of the State League 1 pitches maybe aren't always in the best condition. It's an offside flag that's gone up on this near side.
Yeah, that was a real issue, I think, this year. And your old man is an assistant at Mornington, and I know they had a lot of issues with the pitch this season. You know, honestly, I think aside from the Astro out at Gippsland in the southeast, and maybe Doveton's Field early in the season, I wouldn't say too many are in great condition. You know, so it is a bit of an adjustment when you're used to brawling, I would say, you know, in the state leagues. Here we go, here's a chance.
Bosniak trying to keep hold of it. Early off, and he fair barge then into Kissas, who went over. Play though, referee seeing nothing wrong with barge in the middle. And throw instead for Sugu.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they can get Dushan into this game. I think he's going to be the real key player, and especially with Bayside. You know, again, Max isn't a centre back, Max Murray, but he's playing in there today. You know, how can Dushan make the most of that and get into positions to affect the game? I think he really is the one that can make a difference. But so far, just haven't really quite been able to find him in those progressive spaces.
Flicked on. He's trying to make something work. It might drift through here. Just couldn't quite get there. Started on the right. Karunas over on the left. That might be one that could be swapped around if needs must later in the day from an Argonauts point of view. Versatile front three. Bosniak helped it on. The header almost left short. Kotsopoulos made sure to Daniele, whose eyes would have widened at the prospect of maybe finding a way through there. It's a game that can't afford to leave things to chance. Bosniak lays it off. Chance for Christodoulou. Couldn't get over the top of it. Best chance of the game so far, and it's one that Banyule have wasted.
Yeah, that's the type of action that you really want to see from Dushan, pulling out across to Max, playing a really good 1-2 with Evan, and then Evan, honestly, he should just be passing the ball there to Nick Setti. He was in the box, and there was a great, clear chance. I mean, look, he's around the edge of the box. He'll be disappointed, player of his quality, not to hit the target, but that's the type of movement, that play and move, where you can really expose Bayside on transition. So, big chance there.
relatively capable goal scorer, Evan Christodoulou. Given his midfield prowess, he's got a record of as good as 1 in 6 20 and 118 NPL men's Victoria appearances from his time in the top flight. So he is capable, but didn't quite show it there. His top flight debut all the way back in 2014. As Macaronis gets clear of one challenge. Well played sliding in though from Brandau, the annual captain. Breaks again for Christodoulou, who lifts it over. Sete, onside. Down the Banyule left, he's inside the box. Trying to chop in field. He gives it back as it's sent towards the back post. Eze can't find the cross required. Banyule on top in the last few minutes. Yunus helped on, but best ball there from Matt Lazaridis. Here's another capable of some really good stuff. Up with Konstopoulos. Sete wins it back for Banyule. Ball's well on top here, but Sete's ball couldn't add to that. Sloppily given away by Storti. The 1-2, Christodoulou with another chance. It's blocked on the way through. It's sent away. Lemke getting himself in the right position, but his team at the moment are hemmed in. Bunas in some space. First touch. Again, trying to work it around. Lazaridis as the curling effort was blocked. Sete trying to find something. And right about now, Bayside are right under the pump.
Yeah, this is where Banyule, as we said, they can really start to take charge of the game. Good controlled possession in effective areas and getting Dushan on the ball around the box. I mean, that's where they're really looking like creating chances. But Evan Christodoulou as well, he's now starting to get that freedom, drifting into those central spaces off him. And again, the challenge will be who's going to go with him. You know, Jamo isn't as mobile as he once was. And again, you know, if they don't get close to Evan getting it in around the box, there's going to be problems.
Trying to add to those problems here. Sete with the chance, it's just over the top. Not a bad effort from that distance, just outside the box. He took a look, but couldn't quite keep it down.
Yeah, no, that's a good chance. And Nick Sete, he's got that in his locker. You know, he's dangerous on both feet from around that range. And again, you know, with that controlled possession, they're starting to get players like him, Evan, Dushan into these spaces where they can hurt. Bayside really need to get some control of this game and just try and get some territory as well. At the moment, it's all Banyule.
Banyule finishing 3 points back of league winners Keilor Park. You can see why they were in and around the title chase for so long with the talent they've got. Lazaridis giving it away and presenting it back to Bayside. Kissas also down the line for Cooper to give chase, beaten to it by Brandau. Tried to clear it away, Cooper blocked it, went over. Now doing well to get back into the position he needed to be in. Munoz running it out of play, and best we've seen from Bayside in a short while. To take the throw. Played at some big clubs as a junior, Oakley, Bentley and Richmond when they were still around. Some of the clubs that have used his services in past years. Work the ball into the middle, didn't play the front post, Brandau to flick away. Kenner. Kissas was offline from Oliver Chadwick. That's been the story of the game so far for mine. It's been a game with a lot of talented players and a few chances, but passing and the distribution in and around midfield not quite been there.
Yeah, I think a little bit scrappy at the moment. I mean, Bayside, the last few minutes, starting to get a bit more territory. I mean, look, their real strength is that pace on transition. You know, when they've got Lee and Mass really going at you when you're exposed, that's where there's a threat. And then Mitch Cooper just drifts into those spaces between the lines. And you've seen a few times when Mitch gets on the ball, that's when things look like happening. Haven't really seen too much of Jesse Macaronis so far. And again, he's someone who has so much final product, but how they can find him is going to be important. But right now, it's certainly a game where they just need to get a bit more control of the ball.
Fair crowd in here today as well. To watch this one, we had a bit of a boisterous atmosphere at times in the previous game. East Keilor, or Keilor United, pardon me, it was, that defeated St Kilda by a couple of goals to nil. Ball sent long. Gifkins should be able to sort this out and does. Bunas. Van Dau. Couldn't find teammates in maroon, trying to turn it around the corner. Macaronis broke for Cooper. Spreads it out wide right. Kissas will get there first. Trying to send the first time ball in. Blocked behind by Hegeler. Behind for a Bayside corner.
Yeah, again, starting to get Mitch into the game a little bit more, Bayside, and that's where you can see the threat. And Lee, with his pace out wide, always a threat when he gets into those areas. And look, again, just can they find some final product? That's probably the biggest thing at the moment. But I think first corner of the game for them now, so opportunity for Scott Jamieson to whip a ball in. He's still good on a dead ball, so this is something where there's a bit of threat.
322 A-League men's appearances for Scott Jamieson. 6th most all time, 4 caps for the Socceroos as well, with the first back in 2009. He knows how to play football. Find a good dead ball here and provide something for the Argonauts. It's left-footed, sent in, dangerous ball. Gifkin's not required as there's a whistle in there. Bunas might have been held back. He's a little bit frustrated that play wasn't allowed to run because like something good was coming for Banyule there.
Yeah, again, those transition moments where both teams I think are looking most dangerous, but a good prolonged period here of a bit of sustained pressure from Bayside starting to build into this game. It has been interesting. We've seen a bit of a period of dominance for Banyule earlier, and Bayside with a few moments there. No real clear chances as yet, maybe aside from Evans' Chris Adulu's strike from the edge of the box. But it's one of those where you feel a goal could open this contest up. Right now, still a bit cagey. But that Northwest League this year, you commented on before, that run end to the end of the season was crazy. Sydenham Park, Banyule, and Keilor all up there. And Banyule and Keilor ending up getting it done in the last game of the season. They all secured promotion. But shout out to Sydenham Park and Mate Duganzic as well. They had a good side this year, so very unlucky not to be in this position as well.
So Sugo almost losing it there, but able to recover. There is some talent in these leagues if you don't watch them week in, week out. I'll concede that I don't either, but you watch enough of it and follow enough of it, there is some talent and some talented players too. Here's one of them in Nick Sete. It's a driving field. Almost pulled back there by Lemke, who did enough within the laws of the game. It's over for Quay. He goes over. The Argonauts fans appealing for a free kick that they won't get. That's Sugu. Great switch. Kicks out Sete. He did not have to move. He twists and turns. Was he pulled down? He was. Opportunity might not appear for Banyule. Bit happening around the ball as it's taken quickly and will be brought back. Daniele looked in. He pokes the ball into the back of the net, but it will be coming back. And now, after pleads from the Argonauts players, it's the Banyule players who fancy a word at the referee.
Yeah, again, good opportunity now in a dangerous position. And Jonathan Bunas, he's certainly got this in his locker from set pieces. But no, your comment on state leagues and State League 1 particularly, it's a strong, very strong competition. And again, the top half of it, especially across in the northwest, but in the southeast as well, got a lot of ex-pros, a lot of very good clubs trying to break into VPL2. Very, very strong. And you've seen in VPL2 the last few years, teams that got promoted from State 1 have gone directly through to VPL1.
Bunas with the dead ball, right-footed! It's an absolute peach! Jonathan Bunas with one for the highlight reel and one for the mantelpiece. Out of the top draw, into the top corner, and Banyule are into the lead.
What a goal from Jonathan Boonis. And again, he has that in his locker every day of the week. I mean, he was the big signing this year coming into this squad. A team that just missed out on promotion last year, and the last few years have been up there. But what a free kick. And again, those moments of individual quality in these big games are what make a player, and unbelievable. And you probably say deserved overall. They've probably been the strongest side so far, but yeah, massive moment.
Only his second goal of the season, but if you're not going to score for a while, you may as well end the drought with something like that. Started the year with Pascoe Vale. Grabbed on there, in fact, it's his second for Banyule. Grabbed one against the Essendon Royals before moving across. Doubt he scored too many better than that.
I reckon if you had the Jonathan Boonis highlight reel up, he has scored some bangers over the years. You'd be surprised. For a midfielder, he is technically gifted. But yeah, that is sensational.
I mean, of course, notwithstanding, but that might top the lot. Corner here for the Argonauts that Jamison will take. Stands it up, and there's something illegal in the middle there. But the referee spotted. Over is Matt Lazaridis, the long-time Hume defender. He will require some treatments from Paul's physio staff.
It's going to be interesting to see now how Bayside react to that moment, because they had a little bit of a period after the first 15 where Banyule were on top. And again, you look to the bench too. Darren Duffy, the coach, is suspended. Their assistant coach, Dean Manair, he's away. So again, there has to be some strong leadership now from the sideline. Obviously on the field, they've got a lot of seriously ex-professional players with Jamison, Macaronis, Mitch Cooper, even Zach Lemke. He's been around a long time in these leagues as well. So again, how they respond is going to be crucial, because Banyule now, they've got the quality to really get on top of this game if they keep getting chances. A massive next few minutes.
We've gone on a half an hour. It's an interesting time of the game, particularly when we've had a moment like that to just accelerate the atmosphere and the stands and whatever else. There's a coming down period that has to occur after something like that. The Argonauts will be hoping that it doesn't happen for too long, of course. We've only just had the goal, so we've not really had the passage of play to follow it, but it further takes the sting out of the game. The stoppage, it's Hagler that's gone off as well. So Lazaridis was down in the 6-yard box. Hegler might have been the one more adversely affected. Lazaridis is back up, by the way, and he's taking his position back up at fullback. Hegler making his way around in front of the main grandstand here at the home of the Matildas. Hopefully he's okay to continue in a moment.
Yeah, very experienced player, Tobias. Actually did a pre-season with him when he first arrived in Australia. He was at Whittlesea Rangers when he first landed in the country for a few years in MPL2. But strong, experienced, good with the ball as well. Him and Alan Brandau are both very good players for this level. They work well together as well.
Sass. Keep hold of it for the Argonauts. Sete again going for a run down the left. Chadwick made sure that he didn't have the beating. Nick Sete, great sliding challenge. Chip down the line, and it's the opposite number 13, Lazaridis, to see it out of play. For a split second there, Oliver Chadwick looked second best in the race, but he made sure that he got back on terms. And how well did he do that? It's sent in by Chadwick. Quay with the header. No venom behind that.
Yeah, look, Nick Seti, that's where he's going to be looking really threatening when he's getting in one-on-one situations. But, it's a great challenge from Chadwick there and important. Again, you just think about now with Bayside, how can they get on the ball a little bit more around the box? I think it's been quite direct. They're looking for that early delivery. But, you think you want to see a little bit more of Mitch Cooper, a little bit more of Jesse Macaronis with the ball at their feet around the box. So how can they get them into those positions? I think that's going to be the challenge.
So forward towards Cooper, who couldn't quite get on the end of it. Hagler back on and making his presence felt as it's on by Christodoulou looking for Banyule. Kept by Kotsopoulos. Big day for the Kotsopoulos family. Closest to the president at the club, so that'd be a happy household if they can get the win here. Not in position 1A to do so, given that they're 1-0 down. Plenty of time to turn it round, though. And we've got a throw, which doesn't help the Argonauts cause one bit, but doesn't change the fact that we've got plenty of time left. Lazaridis has played in some big games in past years. There's the ball in. Christodoulou adjacent to the byline, but keep it alive for long. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, we've spoken a lot about Bayside's experience, but you look at this Banyule team and so many players have played so many games at the top level here in Victoria. And again, that's going to be really crucial now as well. You know, as much as we say Bayside need to lift the tempo and get themselves back into this, Banyule just need to sort of keep doing what they're doing, keep control of the ball and look for spaces when they win the ball back quickly. I think that's where the threat really comes against Bayside. So, you know, if they can get the ball quickly to feet, try and get Setsi on the ball quickly, keep trying to play off Dushan, that's where there's going to be problems. So far, managing the game quite well.
Mentioned that experience. Matt Lazaridis, 206 top flight appearances in Victoria, including one of them with Hume. And 4 of them, in fact, as Kissas was fouled there. Sete going in. There's plenty of players out there who, as you mentioned, have had professional experience. Scott Jamison has won the green and gold, but for some of the players on the other end of the scale, this might be the biggest game they've played in their lives. So it's a bit of a melting pot of players who've been there and done it and those who haven't. Here is one who has in. Macaroon tried to work it back. Appeals for a back pass as Lazaridis was sliding in, and some might say that Banyule have got away with one there.
Don't know about that. I think he's just tackling him, and I think that's an ambitious call. But look, yeah, there are a lot of players here that, you know, are wanting to step into VPL2, and look, that's what the state leagues are for, especially State League 1. You've got so many players and teams that, you know, are ambitious and wanting to step into that next tier, and, you know, again, you see it in the Cup, you know, a lot of upsets, you know, with teams knocking out leagues above them. You know, I'd say the top end of State 1 is very close to, you know, the top half of VPL2. So again, a lot of good players.
Kissas sending it in, Quay arriving. Can he keep it at his feet? He can win a corner. Not sure what he was trying to do, didn't really get his body in the right position at all. Sort of flung himself at it. And in the end, from where he was, winning a corner is a good result.
Dangerous ball in from Lee, and Mass seems like he just missed the ball with the header. He overjumped and ball fell to him at second, but again, good threat in wide areas and a good early delivery. You'd be thinking he should have done better there, Mass.
To sort out and around the 6-yard box for Alex Nikolowski. Ball must be sent in. Front post by Brandao. Jamison getting up. Banyule doing well against a couple of Argonauts. Try and keep them honest. Bit of a festival football here. Might have heard a few cheers. There's games going on both on the main pitch here and also on pitch 5.
It's the State 4 Grand Final over there. Looks like Endeavour have just taken the lead, so big moment. Endeavour United, they're playing against refresh my memory now. Faulkner. Endeavour versus Faulkner, so 1-0. Two clubs that have had great seasons over there as well. A lot of, you'd say there, even in State 4, there's some good players in both those squads that have played at a good level. So very competitive, Ollie. I think a lot of people don't really give credit enough to how strong some of these leagues are in Victoria, especially over the last few years as well. A lot of players have come in from overseas and interstate to play in Vic, and the quality's fed through the leagues.
Brandao was down and around a lot as well. He's back up to his feet. There's a lot of Faulkner personnel in and around here who are up and about. They travel well, and they'll be happy with the fact they've gone 1-0 down. So Sugu to send it high. Another one, maybe back the other way from Max Murray. who also might be modern day Mr. Bayside Argonauts, part of the State League 4 team in 2017. There might not be anybody, at least in a playing capacity, who's seen more than him at that club. So my best and fairest a couple of years later. So Sugu couldn't quite get there as it's not out of play by McKenna. Former Northern Ireland Youth International, played under 17s for his country, including a game against France. And back four including former Chelsea man Malang Sarr and Liverpool centre-half Ibrahim Konate. So he's played against some good players. And sent forwards. Makarunas trying to get after that. Beaten to it, and Lazaridis can scamper clear for Banyule. Sete to his left, uses him. Flag stays down as Sete goes on. Tries to shape a cross in. That'll be dealt with rather firmly from the Argonauts' back line. Hegler. Sugu to give it to Boonus, helped it on first time. Chested down by Christodoulou. 34-year-old on the ball here. Let's get it into the box, but Banyule was never a chance to get there, really. It's wave after wave from the Bulls, though. They'd take a fair bit out of that as they continue to manage this game well as we approach half-time. 1-0 lead given to them from a brilliant free kick from Jonathan Boonus, if you're just joining us. Taking down Sugu. Onto Banyule down the line. It's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think Banyule got the game where they want it at the moment. And, again, a few good moments there for Christodoulou getting into those spaces that we've seen him a few times so far. But you've got to say it probably has to be a bit of a lift of energy in the second half, and you look at the benches of both teams as well. There's players that can come in and affect this. And again, we spoke before, but Costa Drutzis has played a lot of games this season. Another one that's got a lot of experience at the highest levels here in Victoria. It'd be interesting to see how he's used in this game. For Bayside, if they can pinch one before half time, that'd be massive.
Kazas trying to provide an avenue forward, he ran it out of play. Just the wrong side of the touchline, the assistant referee in a great position to see it. So much as those Argonauts fans might disagree, we've seen some very vocal fan bases already here this afternoon. With Malvern here later on, that's how they're going to continue. We've seen a fair bit of Malvern in the southeast circles, and they do travel well. That's what we love about Victorian football.
I'll tell you from experience, Bayside have a vocal fan base. That's for sure. There'll be a few laughs around that in our games over the years.
Taken down well by Cooper. He did end up losing it to Christodoulou. Sugu. Goes it for Christodoulou. First time, prods it on. Banyule trying to get after it, and he was well watched there by McKenna. Patsopoulos to Aaron Klein. Hegler into the sky, and it's on again by the goal scorer Boonus. Jamison surrendering possession. Banyule able to make him pay, really. Kenna, Quay to nod it down. Makarunas to try and find him again. It's a good ball. Quay down the Bayside left, trying to work it in board. Mitch Cooper got it stuck underneath his feet, works it back. Makarunas is charged down, has another go on it, and that's blocked too. Eventually helped clear by Lazaridis. Probably the best chance that the Argonauts have had to draw level.
And it fell to the two players you'd want them to fall to, Mitch Cooper and Jesse Makarunas. And again, great defending from Banyule there at the last, from Tobias and Alan Brandau, both doing really well. But again, great chances, and they're the moments you've got to take. Again, looking dangerous here these last few minutes for Bayside now. Then
it'll be Jamison to try and work something out for Bayside. Trying to direct traffic before he does. It's the left-footed ball towards the 6-yard box, is helped on, and then helped off the line. Cooper's shot turned away. Might well have been Banyule back there. was almost a break on for Chris Sadulu. It's denied by Storty. Real chance again for Bayside. Kissas is back there, he'll try and see it behind. Sadulu can't keep it in. And Bayside twice in quick succession coming close to making it one apiece.
Yeah, again, great chance there. And just looking at the replay here, that ball drops pretty close to the goal line. And Scott Jamieson, he's got great delivery on him on those set pieces. Very, very close. And Banyule needing to get some control back. You know, these last few minutes before half time, this is a crucial period.
It was Oliver Chadwick who flicked it on as Jamison's fouled. Didn't know too much about it really, went off his back. Helped off the line from a Banyule point of view. Jamison for Chadwick, who went over after the fact. Sete's fouled him, and he will go into the book. First card of the afternoon goes away with Banyule's number 7.
Yeah, late, and probably a bit of frustration there from Nick Seti. And again, that's an area of his game that's always been a bit of an Achilles heel for him. Needs to stay in control, especially these last few moments. But again, just clumsy foul. Gets Bayside a chance to pump a ball into the box.
It's yellow card number 11 this season for Nick Seti.
I was going to say 11 for the game for a second. I was like, I missed a lot of cards.
No, he's 11th for the season, and that doesn't include the 2 that he had. That probably will include the 2 that have the red if you look at Sports TG that you then wipe off. So you can make that 10 without those. Jamison, free kick. Of course, when you get 2 yellow cards, it's usually wiped off and recorded as naught, but he was given his marching orders a couple of games ago from a Banyule point of view. But no, definitely not 11 for the game.
Well, I think for Nick, that's probably been the thing that's held him back in his career. You know, he was someone that had a fair bit of talent and was doing well. Was playing in the NPL. He was at Altona Magic even after he stint in the A-League. Certainly has a lot of quality as a footballer, but it's just that discipline now, which is crucial. And now that he's on a card, it does pose a question for the Banyule coaching staff in the second half as well. You know, can they keep him on the pitch for the whole game? It's something which is going to be interesting.
McKenna advancing forward, Quay to his left. McKenna kept running down the inside left channel, wasn't used. Quay going along for now. Checks in field, tried to lift it towards the back post. 2-1 for Macaronis, who will get there for Bayside. Chadwick tries someone to the back post. Gifkins dropping in, he was clattered in the process. Kissas the offender. And it's one that Argonauts fans won't like, but whenever a keeper goes down like that, he was impeded in his attempted collection of the ball. That's going to be given every time.
Yeah, definitely a foul. Geordie comes out pretty big and strong there, and a few bodies in the box. And again, that's where Bayside, they do like to get early delivery into the box. Looks like Geordie's in a bit of pain here, which again, it's not what you want to see. Again, such an important player in this squad. You don't want to be seeing him going down if you're a Banyule man. But again, just stopping that early delivery is going to be crucial for Bayside. Looks like Mitch Cooper and Jesse Macaronis playing really close together in these last few minutes in that central space. And again, when they're both drifting around and picking up the ball around the box, that's where the threat comes. So Banyule really have to manage that and get on top of it.
We're into the first of 2 added minutes, by the way. Might go longer than that, given this potential injury stoppage. Penny for the thoughts of Alex Piccinelli, who is the backup goalkeeper for Banyule. As a backup keeper, whenever you speak to a backup keeper, you always hear that they've got to be ready to play, but so rarely are they required. Might the number 99 for Banyule be needed here? And an insight into his mental thoughts right about now would be interesting. He was straight up off the bench, he was sat down perched, he was quick to warm up. Doesn't look like he'll be standing for much longer, given that Jordan Gifkins is back standing himself. It's always an intriguing one, the mind of a backup goalkeeper.
Well, I was a goalkeeper, so I certainly knew that routine. And again, it's something where, you know, you've always got to be ready as a keeper to step in and to play. But it looks like Geordie's okay, thankfully. Again, that's good news for Banyule.
For somebody who played about 5 or 6 games of futsal in goal, I can tell you that, yes, goalkeepers are crazy. It's good to see that one of the very best in the state leagues in Gifkins is back up. Flicked on by Christodoulou. Sent away then by Murray. Gives a touch for a ball in for Banyule. If they can get to the break with the 1-0 lead that they have, if not grow it, they'd be pretty happy with how things have gone so far. Not just with the way the scoreline sits, but also how the game's gone. Looks like Tsuli and Panides will have a bit more work to do at the break. The stand-in Bayside coach this afternoon. Running short. Able to plot away through there. Dusan Bosniak, who has been a little bit quiet. Makarunas going over. Leading one on in there was Bunas, but it was all fair. Halfway down the right, Sete, he's been moved over from left to right, and he's won a free kick. More problems posed for that Bayside back line.
It's a huge moment, probably the last play of this first half, you'd think. And again, if they can get a goal here, that would really change things in the away dressing room. Big moment.
Bunas was very briefly over the dead ball. It's Jake Montagnese who has pulled rank.
Another one who's got this in his locker.
Montagnese over this. Two-man Argonauts wall facing him. Left-footed, lifts it in, back post, and Hegeler was unchecked. Couldn't make the most of it.
Yeah, good delivery right into that back post, and Hegeler, he's a good chance there. A bit difficult because it's coming at him pretty quickly, and he's just got to launch at it to just try and keep it in play. But good moment there. But I think Banyule, they'll certainly be happy with the position they're in, and I think the overall control of the game. I mean, Bayside have had their moments, and there is certainly threat in around the box when they get those key plays on the ball. But I think for Banyule, more of the same and keeping control of the game.
Absolutely, and from a Banyule point of view, they are halfway there. 45 minutes down, and after those 45, it is they who lead. And what a goal it was to get them in front. Jonathan Bunas with a picture book free kick into the top left corner to put his team in front. Bayside have tried and tried. They had a couple of opportunities with Mitch Cooper and Jesse Makarunas unable to sort themselves out with their best look at the break. It is they who will have to try and mastermind a comeback. Maybe their meteoric rise will be stunted for a season at least. Half-time from the main pitch here at the home of the Matildas in Bundura. It is the Bayside Argonauts 0, Banyule 1. Second half on the way from the home of the Matildas, and it is Banyule, the Bulls, who are in the box seat, 45 minutes away from VPL2. It's the Bayside Argonauts who stand in their way but are a goal behind here in Bundoora. Oliver Walker-Peel and Brandon Delgado here with you. What the thoughts of Brandon in a split second. It doesn't look like we've got any personnel changes in terms of the playing 11s that started the game. With that in mind, it is Dusan Bosniak who will get us back underway for Banyule. What an opportunity for them to try and get themselves out of this league and back to the third tier of Victorian football. The Argonauts looking to put pay to that as Kissas looks for a run at Alan Brandau, sees it out of play for a throw, Brandon, and the majority of the first half went the way of the Bulls. What can Bayside do you think, to try and turn the tide their way?
Yeah, look, it's going to be a really intense first 10 minutes. I think that's going to be the key, and Bayside will come out firing. I mean, look, the key for them always has been, where do you get Mitch Cooper and how do you get him around the box? You know, and I think that's where they need to get a bit more of him in those key areas. Interestingly, will he stay playing as a little bit more of a drifter as a 10? I mean, Jesse Macaronis started higher, but it looks like Mitch might be playing in that higher role now, and Jesse's dropping in as a 10. So again, you know, can they get him on the ball and playing? That's going to be key.
There might be a slight tweak in terms of the tactics board. Cooper ahead of his man, over towards Quay from Macaronis. Quay inside the box, trying to keep hold of it and keep it away from Suetsugu, who he then fouls. Super defending from Ray Suetsugu to keep it away from Quay in the end.
Yeah, he's done well there. I've been impressed by him. He was at Doncaster earlier in the season, and someone who I think has done well to come into this Banyule team midway through the year and establish. He was playing a little bit more central at Doncaster in the midfield, and you know, now playing as a fullback. He's done quite well. But again, for Banyule, I think it's just more of the same. Keep control of the game. If they can get one on transition, especially if Bayside start to open up and go for this game, you know, it could be the end.
Helps on Daniele, trying to run at the Argonauts defence. Went over, but no foul in there. Strong tackle from Oliver Chadwick, but he took the ball. The Argonauts can't clear. Christodoulou able to take over. The Argonauts look to break. Quay off after it. Hegele to run at. He'll roll it in ball towards Cooper. Boonus dropping back with so much poise, stunting the Argonauts attack. Sete looking north for Banyule. Got the beating of Chadwick. Still trying to come across. Norrie helps it back to Oliver Chadwick, who will see it away for now at least. This is a bit more end-to-end at the start of the second half.
Yeah, and that's what to expect, especially Bayside. They've got real pace out wide. Quay, you know, you see that one-on-one situation with Tobias before. That's where they're going to want to get him. And again, to come in off the bench, they've got Kostas Druses and Garen Kingog, both super quick and direct wingers. So interesting to see how they use it.
As Christodoulou hits one, wasn't far away. Just off target. Looked like he caught it sweet enough, but accuracy not quite there. Would have been a huge moment in the game.
Yeah, good strike. And again, he's been really good, I think, in this game, and really showing his quality, drifting into those spaces around the box. He's had a few of their best chances, and hit it pretty well. Hard to see from this angle how close it really was, but they're the moments where they can create.
It's on Lemke, but hey, Bayside can't get anything going. Christodoulou to help it on. Daniele looking across the assistant referee. I reckon he knew that he was the wrong side of that defensive line as he started his run.
Yeah, you wonder now with Banyule what the impact off the bench looks like. Guys like Nick Vulgaris, who've played a lot of games this year, that can come into this and into the midfield. Probably don't have the same level of depth as Bayside in some respects, although Enrique Pimenta, he's a very good player. Very good futsal player as well, so someone who can come in with creativity. And Anthony Ramsey's played at NPL level as well. So a lot of really good impact players on both sides that can come in and affect this game.
Sadulu trying to break clear of the attentions of Jamison, who did well to keep him honest. It's a free kick too. Surprising to see Nick Vulgaris not in the matchday squad today from a Banyule point of view. He has been a fair contributor this season. Just the campaign. Now sliding in. Left on Cooper. Who quickly gets back up. Lemke. Brought down there. Chadwick by Sete, who will have to be careful. If you're an Argonauts player, watching him go into a challenge, you'd surely be into the ear of the referee straight away.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they start thinking about how long he's going to stay on the pitch, Nick. As much as he's a great player, and you can see already, I think they're speaking on the bench. I reckon Anthony Ramsey is probably a shout to come onto that wing position there. But yeah, Nick, definitely a risk. Now, he's got one challenge left, I think.
He's certainly well within comfortably the best 11 players that Banyule have got. So there's no question on his talent to sort out for Alex Nikolowski, our referee this afternoon. An evening now, I suppose, with the sun starting to set. Thomas Hegele is being spoken to as a Zap Lemke of Bayside. Has been promoted out of this division before with Bo Morris. The free kick sent in, headed away by Lazaridis, and maybe a chance for Banyule to move things quickly. Pass was behind Christodoulou, but luckily enough in front of Suetsugu, who gave it away. Kissas involved. Cooper will give it in back. Kissas away from Suetsugu, tried to lift it in, and it never looked likely of finding anyone in blue.
Yeah, Lee's biggest problem's always just been his final product. Very direct, very athletic. He's got into some good positions today. He whipped a few good balls in that first half. Interesting to see him moved out to the left and Mass out on the right. Again, something where Bayside looking to change a few things up.
Flips up towards Sete. Trying to help it onto the running Montagnese. No action really on either bench. The clock keeps ticking. Sete got up early. Towards Cooper, who crashes in. Very kindly for Kissas, who will try and work it over. Quay will give chase. He was onside. Quay to try and cut it back. Left it short for Cooper. And luckily enough from a Banyule point that he did, Brandau making absolutely sure he got back. A better ball from Quay, and Cooper might have had a real chance to at least work the Banyule keeper and Jordan Gifkins.
Good chance. And again, that pace in behind is where the threat is, and it's starting to open up a little bit. I just think Mass would be disappointed with that final delivery because Cooper was certainly lurking. Good defending in the end, but Banyule really have to manage this period now.
Jamison with another corner here for Bayside. Best chance from an Argonauts point of view came from one of his deliveries earlier on. Sends another one in towards the middle, top of the 6-yard box, but Banyule able to get it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, I just wonder now if Banyule need to go to the bench, just get a bit of energy back into this midfield. I think that's something where potentially they need to get some control back. It's been a good start from Bayside. They're on top of this at the moment.
Trying to get it into the middle. Macaronis couldn't do too much with that. Underneath it to play frustratingly from the way he'll see it for a throw for Banyule. you're probably looking at Enrique Pimenta to come off the bench. If anybody, spoke about his futsal prowess, won the Golden Boot in the series futsal competition for Moreland with 26 goals in 16 games. Lightning quick winger from what I'm being told, as is Cooper, who is being hauled back by Hegeler, and the colour of the card is yellow. I wonder if some Argonauts fans might have been protesting for a more serious punishment.
Yeah, that's a big moment there, and Tobias now on a yellow. That's dangerous again. Direct ball in behind. Mitch Cooper rolling off the shoulder. I think it's been a good change for him going into that central space as a striker rather than in as a 10. Bayside need to make the most of this now. Big opportunity.
Particularly with Hegeler on a yellow. One that they'll try and profit off. It's potential hesitance. What's Scott Jamison thinking standing over this dead ball? Plenty for him to try and pick out in the middle if he's thinking across, which he is. Left-footed to the back post. A wonderful delivery. Max Murray looked like he was making the right run in the back post. It was taken off his toes and behind for a corner, but what a ball.
Well, what a clearance as well. I mean, I think it was Evan Christodoulou there that got the touch on the clearance. Outstanding work, but super dangerous delivery from Jamison. And again, this is where he really brings a threat.
Good football all around that, really. A couple of experienced players standing up for their respective teams when needed most. Another Jamison corner. Left-footed into the middle! And it's in! Ollie Chadwick wheels away! And the Argonauts are back on level terms. Went in via a Banyule body. Might not be credited to Chadwick when it's all said and done. He will not care. It's one each in Bundura.
You got to say that's been coming. It's a really good delivery again from Scott Jamison, and Chadwick he gets a good head on the ball. It goes into that central space. The Banyule really is now about how they can get themselves back into this game, because the second half has been one-way traffic. But huge moment for Bayside.
I'll tell you what, I'm not part of the dubious goals panel, but I'd be giving that one to him. That looked like I was heading on target. If it is Chadwick's goal, it's his 6th of the season for Bayside. Scored a huge one against Mornington. Of course, Mornington finishing 3rd. Just back of Bayside, who finished 2nd. He scored the equaliser in that game. It was maybe the biggest result of the season. This goal probably trumps even that.
Huge. And I think, again, you look at this start to the second half. We said they'll come out really aggressively and look to really push. They've done that. And now for Banyule, it's how do you get back in control? They looked comfortable in that first half, but the momentum shifted. And now you've got to think about what does a change look like, because right now it's all Bayside.
It's been a topsy-turvy affair, this one. Maybe somewhat fitting that it's the Argonauts currently riding the wave. Kissas with a long throw. And a flick on at the front post. Manke was there. Quay came barging in, but again, all fair according to the officiating team. McKenna. He's played 19 times in the Northern Irish top flight. To try and get the Argonauts to the 3rd tier of Victorian football. So he might have some defending to do here. Sete. Trying to have a run at the Argonauts goal scorer, and Chadwick, with some help, has done well there. Boonas keeping hold of it for Banyule. To fizz that one forward towards Bosniak, who couldn't really do much with that. Kissas, interesting pass, and Chadwick was sold a little bit short. He was then taken down by Dusan Bosniak.
Yeah, it's looking a bit flat, Banyule, at the moment. I've got to say that the energy's dropped. They're not really keeping as much of the ball, and Bayside looking really dangerous on transition. They've really got to start getting Brunis and Evan Christodoulou back in this game, and even Dusan Bosniak as well. Just not a lot of service in this second half. So again, how can they achieve that is going to be the question, and whether they go to the bench as well.
Spoke about how good their 11 is, Banyule, and it certainly is. It's just whether a question of when the depth's called upon, can that stand up too? They're going to need something here, the Bulls, because in this second half they've been second best. Lazaridis shapes on down the line. After his set A, he'll get there. A couple of Argonauts defenders up against him, and it was Chadwick who stole it away. Flicked on, Macaronis for Quay. That's the switch. And unsurprisingly, Kissas will pump the brakes for now at least. Sent central towards Cooper, and helped on, a chance! And the goal! Zach Lemke puts the Argonauts in front. And the man from the land of the stars and stripes shines there for Bayside. Is he the star that is taking the Argonauts up?
Well taken, and Zach's attack on the box is always something where they have a threat, and again, it's good football. It's a good ball into the area, and then a great finish from Zach from the flick. And again, Banyule, they've really not controlled this second half of the game. Looks like a change as well, and Thomas Daniel going off. Looks like he was struggling a little bit, and looks like Conrique Pimenta is it that's come on. Yep. So, look, very technical, very aggressive. So again, they're going to need some quality from him.
Feels like a change they need to make, particularly given the goal. It's Lemke's fourth of the season. The goal celebrated all the way from Bayside to Beaver Creek in Ohio, where he hails from. Huge moment in the game. Now they're zipping it around. Cooper got it from Macaronis, but his touch was heavy. Lemke winning it back. Might have set Cooper in. He tries to stamp one up towards Quay. Flicked away as far as Kissas on the volley. Deflected. And kept in just to the disagreements of many affiliated with the Argonauts who thought that they should have had a corner. Good moment for Pimenta. Scored 10 goals for Fitzroy City back in 2022, so capable in Victorian football. Need to show it here.
Yeah, I think there just has to be a real lift of energy at the moment across the whole Banyule team. It's just really been flat in the second half, and you look at Bayside and they're up for it, and look, they're that type of team. They're really aggressive when they get up and about. They've got players that can push. Right now, it's real one-way traffic. So, again, huge next few minutes for Banyule here.
So Tsugu reels that one in. From Bunis. Mensah trying to get himself on the ball. Tsugu letting it bounce, and in turn allowing McKenna in. Hoisted high. Cooper doing well to win the header. Jamison. Quay's a mile offside. Cooper hadn't got himself back onside. 25 minutes and change to go. Bayside from behind are in front. Kissas surrenders possession. Pimentel will get after it. Jamison sliding in, he took the ball fair and square. Crossfield ball cut out by Lazaridis of Banyule. He advances on. Matt Lazaridis hit one. Parried and helped over the top. Dusan Bosniak, the man who has made a living in this state of scoring big goals, squanders a massive chance to get Banyule back level. And there are so many around this pitch are surprised that he hasn't scored.
What a chance, and honestly, he's just got to be scoring it. Dusan, it's the first bit of good football I've probably seen from Banyule in these last 10 minutes or so in terms of progressing and getting into good space. Lazaridis did really well on the drive. It's a good strike and falls so well for Dusan. I've just got to say, he's just got to be scoring it. But again, big moment.
Got a goal record of better than one every other game in the Victorian top flight. You would have expected him to score that. 65 and 127 in the Victorian top tier, or at least in the NPL era, as that goes behind for a goal kick. If you're Banyule and you could have cherry-picked a striker for that to fall to, you would have picked him. And even though there is a long while to go, is that the moment where you start to question whether this is Banyule's day?
A lot of football still to be played, and again, for them it's just getting some control back and then just getting back to the basics, because right now Bayside are up and about, but they've just got to get their foot on the ball and start playing again, get some control back, see if they can start creating some chances. At the moment it's been end-to-end football, but they can start playing around the box.
Try and send that one in. It's looking a bit long for Pimentel, and so it proves.
Yeah, and again, some impact to come in potentially. You look at the bench, and is it Anthony Ramsey to come in and bring a bit of spark? For Bayside as well, that they've got players that can bring in to see this game out. How do they manage that now? These last 25 minutes or so. But where they want to be now, Banyule have to step it up.
Looking at the players who are defensively minded, Ray Ogawara is maybe the one you look at. And IE2. Boot raised. Those in blue surround the referee, and they had other matters at hand in trying to prevent a free kick quick, which they've done. Worth noting, of course, that given this is a playoff, we need a winner tonight. Level after 90, it's extra time and pens if needed. Sete disposing of the ball well there. Bunas helping Banyule win it back. Hegele striding forwards. Christodoulou outside of the foot. The pass needed. Hegele again. Sugu. He's presented it back to Bayside. It's lifted towards Cooper, who was a fair way off. Makarunas saw the run, maybe not seeing that he made it too early.
Yeah, just super open though on transition, and again, Banyule, they've got to be careful. There's still a lot of football to be played and throwing numbers forward. And you just saw there, every time Bayside get it, there's so much space in behind. I'd say they'd be looking at changes. Garen Kingok and Costa Drutzis with this space in behind. If they come in fresh, they could really affect this. But for Banyule, got to be careful in those moments.
Bunas, whose wonderful free kick seems a fair while ago, towards Sete, who fancies a run at Chadwick. Slipped over the ball. It's the front cheers of the Bayside fans, and Chadwick then prodded the ball away to Quay. Sends it forward, Cooper off after it, and fair way out Gifkins. Ended up dealing with it well in the end. Would have been a nervy moment for him, I reckon, but he made sure. Former Knights goalkeeper. Ball pumped long. Murray looked for a split second like Kotsopoulos in the Bayside goal was going to be backpedaling for a bit there, but he was able to get that ball in well enough.
I think just with Banyule, they've just got to get back playing and keeping the ball a little bit. It's been a bit direct that last few minutes. But I think they've looked dangerous when they have gotten those combinations in and around those high spaces. And yeah, right now it's just a little bit of energy again in that midfield, potentially where they can get back into this.
Christodoulou, capable of so much with the ball at his feet, but well below his lofty standards. The ball back for Kotsopoulos, forced him to deal with it rather quickly. Hegeler. Kins from outside of his area. Storty chesting down into the path of Quay. He had to go it alone with Cooper being offside. Sugu. Christodoulou with poise. Mensah losing out. Went sliding in and got something on the ball. It's now playing for an Argonauts throw. McKenna. Looking forwards at Sugu to try and switch it. Wanting Sete, but he was watched as he has been all day by Chadwick, who goes down behind the play. Advantage play by the referee. Quay for Cooper. Back towards Masquay. Gifkin's getting there. Another reminder that Nick Sete is on a card. And the player that he was involved with there in Chadwick is still down. So it's Sugu. Almost a chance in behind Pimenta. Pushing on as he was played the other way. Play the ball in behind there. It was Kissat of Bayside. It was making a run in behind from Banyule point of view, as that's how to play for Argonauts. Ball in.
Looks like there was an off-the-ball collision there. I don't know if Nick Sete hit him off the ball or bumped him or something like that, and then Ollie Chadwick was down. But again, real questions there about if Nick Sete's head's still in it. He's a player that has the X factor that they need, but he just hasn't been able to get into this game in the second half. They need to try and find him, or they need to think about a solution. Looks like a change is about to be made. So for both players. Oh yeah, Jesse Makarunas off. Looks like Karen Kingock on.
It's a 9 that's gone over for Jesse Makarunas, and the 10 in green is that of Kostas Droutsas. So there's the immediate change. Spent time Mornington last year. Also involved in an off-pitch role with the women's team at Sandringham. This is foul and the cards. He's not been on the pitch long, has he?
Yeah, he'll go straight into the number 10 role. Costas, he'll run and he'll press, but going into the book straight away, he's a combative player, so it's going to limit him a little bit from getting really niggly.
Yeah, he'll go into that 10 position, but he probably went into the book quicker. There is something happening in this game wherever you look. Free kick from deep. Coming to Pontus Kotsopoulos, he's missed it. And the chance looked to present itself for Pimenta, he saw it blocked. Was he hauled down unfairly? Referee didn't think so. Murray will see it out of play for a throw. They won't die wondering here, Banyule. Looks like they will make a change themselves here. Montagnese coming off, and here's Anthony Ramsey. We've mooted his potential introduction for a fair while now, and finally he's going to make his way on.
Yeah, experienced player in and around the box and can score goals as well. So type of player they want to bring into this, maybe a bit of energy as well.
There is a Bayside change too. Lee Kissas is being withdrawn here, and Garen Kingock, a fair player that we've spoken about at length without even seeing him on the pitch. Talented player, had the most votes a couple of years ago in the State League 3 best and fairers, but was ineligible to win it. He scored 11 goals that year for Roeville. Had back-to-back 10-goal years in 2023 and 2024 before making the move up. How much he would cherish a goal here. And what a big goal it might prove to be if he can get it. Sugu. Ramsey, freshly on for Banyule, taking over Chris Adulu. To the byline he goes, sends him right-footed. He's headed away to the edge of the box, but a foul in there, according to the referee.
Yeah, brave defending there, and well cleared. But yeah, Garen Kingock will bring a lot of pace out into that wide space. And again, Lee did well tonight to stretch Banyule's defence and be aggressive. Garen will be fresh, and we look to get at them in behind.
It's Keon Storty, the player, fouled from Bayside points of view.
I'd say Keon has been there up there as one of the best players this season. Very good centre back, and really well done there.
Less than a quarter of the 90 to go. Much less. Sixth would be more accurate. Plays from both sides briefly down there. Quickly up was Garen Kingock. Raisa Tsugu took a bit longer to rise to his feet. Banyule fullback, who has acquitted himself well, particularly early in the game. Chance here for Ramsey. So working across for Bosniak. He's had a play for a Banyule ball in. Tsugu forwards. Adulu. How much that chance might keep him awake tonight, the one he had in the first half. Sugu away from Kingock. Through the legs there of Lemke. Ramsey for Pimenta. He lost out. Cooper around the corner. Getting back there, Pimenta to take it back for Banyule. Hegler. Bunas. He couldn't find the pass required, but it'll ricochet back for Brandao. Sadula been here, there and everywhere just about. In Bundura this evening, it's lifted down the line. Sete. The beat of his man tried to roll in ball, but there he has been all season, Keon Storty to deal with it. Cooper got up early. Sadula in the way. Breaks kindly for the Argonauts and for Quay, whose first touch was clever. Tries to combine with Cooper, who fizzed it back at him. It's off Quay's shin and out of play for a throw. Ramsey towards Sugu. It's on the play. Bayside, as you expect, given that they've got the lead and not too long now to preserve it, they have sat back. What do you think, Brandon, that Banyule can do to try and break it down?
Yeah, it's just ball speed around the box. It's just got to lift. There's been a bit of an improvement, now at this stage where Bayside are happy to sit and contain, but Banyule just need to be moving this ball around the box. They need to be asking questions. They need to move their block. You can see a few Bayside players are getting tired. It's been a big shift from them in this second half. So how Banyule can move this ball at pace and try and unlock this defence is going to be key.
Defending like that from Liam McKenna will help. Not too many players have represented Warren Point and Carrick Rangers and also the Bayside Argonauts, the former two clubs there. He was within the Northern Ireland top flight, as mentioned earlier. How much might his experience be utilised in the final throws of this game? Just over 10 minutes to play. Christodoulou letting it run across his body. Jamison stepping in to get there ahead of Boonus. Quay dropping back to help out. Chadwick's ball a poor one. Christodoulou. Boonus. Heavy first touch. They'll have Lemke in, and he was fouled. Just had to step in there, Zach Lemke. And his goal might steal the headlines, but that play maybe just as crucial to make sure that Jonathan Boonus didn't have a route forward, because he's a damaging player if you let him off the leash.
For sure. Look, Zach's a workhorse, and he's been there and done that through these leagues for a number of years now. And his goal was crucial, and he works hard. You know, he gets back there in a good space. Again, good defending from Bayside, but Banyule, who can we see, you know, a little bit more energy from? It's been a key word in the second half. Nick Setty's started to get himself back into it a little bit in these last few minutes, but 10 to go. This is it. You know, they've just got to go for it now.
Boonus. Ramsey, Pimenta, wider of him, and he gives it there. There's in boards. And again, it comes unstuck for Banyule. Down the line ball, McKenna. Quayna over on the left for Bayside. He was watched by Brandau, and Quay's gone down. Hand in the air, not a good sign from his point of view and from Bayside's point of view. And you feel like they might be forced into at worst treatments. Well, at worst the changes should say, and at best treatment from an Argonauts point of view.
Looks like he's signalling that he's done. So I don't know what's happened there. Maybe felt something go. So again, if you look at the bench, it's interesting to think who comes in. They've used both of their attacking changes. So there's potentially Terence Carter to come in here. He'll go as a target if he does come on for Mass. Maybe they'll move Mitch out wide. But yeah, getting seconds off the clock will be big now as well.
It's Carter if you want to go like for like, you feel. So I have the question that if Quay has to come off, it's a reshuffle to go more defensive. I suppose you'd be a better place to answer that than me, being the actual coach as part of this broadcast. Cooper. With Banyule players swarming to go to him. He's lost out in the decision there, Mitch Cooper. He doesn't agree with the call. No protestations of his will change it. Brandau. Down the line towards Ramsey. Bobbles in his vicinity. He goes over. And does well to keep it for his team. It's over for Pimenta, who will tee one up! And Kotsopoulos to turn it around the post. Big save. That one probably heading in. And he just had to make sure that he wasn't beaten by it, Lewis Kotsopoulos.
Yeah, saw the chance. It's a good strike from Pimenta. They probably need a bit more of that. It looks like they're making the change, and it does look like it's, I believe, Del Pozzo that's come on. So it is not a like for like. So it looks like maybe a reshuffle defensively. So interesting. Or is it Ray Ogawa, actually, I think that's come on. I think it's Ray, looks like.
It is. Number 2 went up in green. More on him in a minute. The corner in from Ramsey. Dealt with. Chadwick was in there for Bayside. As far as Lazaridis. Try and send it down the line. Chadwick to help it forwards. Highest player there for Bayside, who are scored twice this season, by the way, in the league. Goals against Collingwood City and Bo Morris. That won't be his primary objective now, you wouldn't think. He'll be more keeping them out. Flicks on towards Christodoulou, but unsuccessfully so by Lazaridis. You just feel that now, with less than 6 minutes to play in the 90, Banyule have got to start getting more things go right for them.
Yeah, I think they've probably got to go a little bit more direct now and just get themselves into the box. Creating chances has been a bit of a problem in the second half. Looking at Bayside, it looks like they're still in a pretty compact shape. Well, here we go.
Kingock went over, he's beckoned to his feet. Hasn't he provided something though since coming on? The previous resume gives you an idea of what type of player he is. A goal scorer, but he's added some problems for the heart of that Banyule defence. Boonus getting himself involved in the heart of the Banyule midfield. Over towards Ramsey, who couldn't keep it. And celebrations, muted ones at least, from all affiliated with the Argonauts. They're not there yet, but they're not far off. And in by McKenna. Let's get back into position. Bosniak wasn't hauled back unfairly. He has fouled Murray there though. And with that decision he can have no complaints. Malvern players watching on. We've seen this Bayside team before. Keeler Park well affiliated and acquainted with Banyule, given that they've seen them twice this year. Hegler went up early. Kingock tried to keep it alive, he couldn't quite. Got plenty of games here today, but this is the only one where there's real absolute jeopardy for the loser, where they can't take any silver lining out of the season really. If you lose in the grand final, you're still going up. Not the case in this playoff. That's what's at stake here for Banyule. A couple of minutes away from having all their work this season come to naught. Kingock on the Bayside left. He was fouled, but they'll take the advantage here. McKenna takes it on. He ran into Aguilar. It's out to play last off him and behind for a Bayside corner. In terms of the geography on the football pitch, the Argonauts have got the ball where they want it. With only a couple of minutes left to go, just over in the 90.
Yeah, this is exactly where they'll want it, and just slowing this game down is going to be crucial. And yeah, it's been a big second half performance from Bayside. You've got to say they've brought the energy. They've wanted it, I think, a little bit more, in this second half. And Banyule, you'd probably be a bit disappointed in the way they've approached it since half time. They were in such good control in that first half, but Bayside have turned it on in the second period. Just got to manage out these last few minutes.
Just wonder whether they're going to start going to the corner here. There's Drutsus, who is there for Bayside. It's taken away from him by Christodoulou. Able to hold on to it there, Bosniak. Kingock on the Argonauts' right. He elects not to send it in, and he'll press the pause button on this game as well. Has it taken away from him? Lemke in the right position. He pulls up Proppy. Taking over there, Drutsus. It's out of play for another Argonauts throw. And Banyule will know that they are running out of time. Watch on Zach Lemke, who, as it stands right now, is the hero. He's not moving at 100%, but he's staying out there for now at least, and that might change. He takes a seat on the turf here in Bundura, and it might be his evening done and his race run. Just pulled up as Garang Kingock had the ball for the Argonauts.
I think Lemke is signalling to the bench as well that he might be done. Not quite sure what's going on there, if it's just cramp or not. But again, Banyule, last hurrah. Just got to get this ball forward now. Need to move it with some urgency.
He's taken a supplement of sorts. He's back on. King Ox try and help it on towards no one in blue. A watch on the fourth official shortly for added time. Up long from a Banyule point of view. Christodoulou trying to lift it towards the edge of the box, winning the header. Storti breaks for Lazaridis, who's blocked. We've got 5 minutes of added time at the end of the 90. Wins the first of those now. And with that ball behind for an Argonauts goal kick, some of those 300 seconds will come off the clock here.
Yeah, again, just lacking ideas, I think, around the box, and no real threat in this second period. And look, the big moment, Dusan Bosniak's chance right in front of goal, that was the moment, I think, for Banyule. And since then, Bayside have managed it out well. They haven't conceded many opportunities, and Banyule here, they've just got to find a spark these last few minutes.
And he's trying to flick it on. Cooper for Bayside, over towards Kingock. He's never going to get there. Hegeler. Touched on by Christodoulou, who wanted Pimenta, and that's out of play. Fair Argonauts contingent when that ball's got out of play. And they were letting everyone in maroon know. Pimenta. Keep hold of the ball. Randall back there. Sugu by Kingock, but ended up losing it. Jamison. Cooper. He wasn't fouled according to the officials. Ramsey working over for Lazaridis. Sete running down a cul-de-sac, but getting the call. Takes the throw quickly. Ramsey trying to get it central. Bosniak was making the run, but he didn't get there. Lemke helps it on. Cooper nods it on. Chance maybe here for the Argonauts to seal it. Drutz trying to stretch the hamstrings out and get in behind. He couldn't quite. Bunas wanted Sete. Couldn't get it to him. The Argonauts on the verge and Banyule on the brink.
Yeah, again, it just hasn't been good enough, I think, in this last period of the game from Banyule. Too many turnovers. They've looked like a team that's at the end of a season. I think lads have had a long campaign. It's a lot of games for a semi-professional footballer when you get to this level and this point. And Bayside, they've looked fitter, they've looked stronger. They've had a little bit more desire in the second half, you feel like. And yeah, just hasn't been enough from Banyule in terms of the quality. And the start of the game, it was comfortable and they were moving the ball well, but the second period, I think the fitness and the legs have shone through from Bayside.
Kingock was making the run into the box. It was a good challenge from Hegeler to get it off him, but almost as quick as Banyule took the ball, they given it away again. McKenna will take it to the corner. Final whistle in the other game going on right about now. Still 2.5 minutes just about left here. That's out of play. The Banyule ball. Jamison winning the header. Lemke likewise. Cooper and Kingock central. Advantage play. This would seal it. The chance might still be there. Big save, Gifkins to deny Drutz. Another chance. Kingock can't take that. Jordan Gifkins keeping Banyule with a glimmer of hope. He sends it long. Broke kindness enough for Oguwara, the Argonaut substitute. Kingock on the half volley. Never looked likely, but there might be a bit of time getting the ball back in play. Banyule are rushing as quick as they can to try and get a ball back to their goalkeeper, which they do. Time running low for the Bulls.
Great saves from Jordy Gifkins there. Outstanding. Keeping him in it. And again, he stood up when they've needed him. Bayside really looking threatening on transition here, but to Banyule, I just don't think there's time. I think that Bayside have got this where they need it. And the threat and pace in behind. There's one last push maybe here. They need a bit of quality now. This is it.
Pimenta. Pull back. Kingock giving the free kick away. So Tsugu took it from where the ball had landed, not where the infringement had happened, so the ball comes back. You can understand the urgency from a Banyule point of view. It's probably now or never. High ball. He's getting up to try and win there to Brandao. It's out of play. Goal kick. And that might be that. The Argonauts fans know that their team are oh so close. Anyone with any knowledge of this game will know that Lewis Katsopoulos will take as much time as he can. Referee points at the watch to say that he'll add the time on. The question is, how much time have we got left? Another check of the watch from Alex Nikolowski. Still we go on. Out of play. Argonauts ball. Lemke involved again. It's his goal that has his team at the moment going up. McKenna down the line with the throw. Kingock chesting down. Cooper there to take it on. He wasn't fouled. Lemke to the corner. Suetsugu to send long. He's really got no other option. Brandao's gone forwards. Nominally a centre half, but will play more like a centre forward. Helps it on. Bosniak to give chase. It's nodded back to the goalkeeper by Murray. Another check of the watch from the referee. Whistles from the stands, not yet from our referee, who has the whistle to his mouth. Listen to the roar that goes up in a minute from the Argonauts fans. These Argonauts sail into uncharted waters, and you won't keep their fans off the pitch tonight. They know it's all over. And the Argonauts, for the first time in their history, get out of the state leagues. Their meteoric rise keeps on keeping on. And Bayside are going up to VPL2 for 2026. A heartbreaker for Banyule, who had the lead and saw it slip away. A wonderful season for them, comes up short when it matters most. But the celebrations will go on long in the southeast. Full time here in Bundoora, the home of the Matildas. With a home of Argonauts celebration tonight, it's finished. Bayside Argonauts 2, Banyule 1, Brandon Galgano. Sum that up, what a game of football.
Yeah, and you got to say credit and congratulations to Bayside. They came out in the second half and really looked the team that had the desire, that had the quality, 2 well-taken goals and pressure throughout the whole half. I think towards the end of the game, Banyule just didn't have the steam and the push to get themselves back into it. They had some big chances with Dusan Bosniak, but you know, again, these games are all about heart and desire as you get to this point of the season. And Bayside showed a lot of that. And you've got players here that have been through a few promotions. That also makes a big difference. I think mentally, when you've been on the back and a ride with a few promotions in a row, this is their third now, it makes a difference. Whereas you look at Banyule, you know, that potential mental block of these last few years of getting so close and missing out every year, it maybe played a part. But a huge moment for Bayside, and again, they'll be celebrating long into the night.
They certainly will. Zach Lemke's goal was the match winner. It's another promotion out of this league for him. Did it with Bo Morris in 2022. He lost the State League 1 Grand Final, but his team going up automatically. And how about for Max Murray, the number 16, played for this club in State League 4 8 years ago, and he'll get a crack at the 3rd tier next year, 9 years later. This win is for him, it's for more than him. He can take a lot out of it. Those Argonauts fans that have seen so much, have seen their team go back to back to back in terms of promotions. And they must be thinking that it's a fun time to be an Argonauts fan right about now. One more game to go to decide who the very best in the state leagues are across the state for 2025. Grand final between the best in the southeast and the best in the northwest. Keilor Park and Malvern City from 7 o'clock here at the home of the Matildas. You'll be in the company of Neil Simons and Ross Papadakis for that one. From Brandon Galgano, myself, Oliver Walker-Peel, the rest of the team up here on the home of the Matildas gantry. It's been a bit of a cold one. But the Argonauts fans will not care one jot. Take care, stay safe, and goodbye for now. If you're an Argonauts fan, enjoy this.